What's up, guys? I'm on location doing some photography for a client. I'm doing some headshots, portraits, things like that. And I'm using the Panasonic GX85 with the Olympus 45mm 1.8. This is actually the very first time that I've used this lens, and so I'm excited to see the results, how it looks, you know, the combination of the camera and lens and how it comes out. So stay tuned for some photos and then some post reactions after I edit, because I want to definitely, see if this Micro Four Thirds journey that I've been on for the last few months is worth it. As most of you know, Fujifilm is my preferred way to shoot, my preferred system. And so normally in this situation, I would be using, say, an X Pro 2 or XT2 with the, any one of my portrait lenses, which could be the 35 f2, the 50 f2, a Viltrox 85, or sometimes I even bring zoom lenses from the Sigma 18 to 50 or the Tamron 17 to 70. And I can use any one of those to get, portraits, depending on the situation, depending on what it is that I'm looking for, what I want to carry, etc. But I do have a full-fledged Micro Four Thirds kit, and my portrait lenses would be the 25mm 1.7 and this Olympus 45mm 1.8. So I tested this out as my sole used lens for today, and we just finished. So yeah, I want to see what it looks like, and then I'll let you know. So stay tuned. What's going on, guys? So I'm back with my reaction to the 45mm 1.8 with the GX85. So I went home that day and edited the photos, did everything in Lightroom for the first time. So that's something that I didn't do a lot, because in the past I would use Luminar 4. I did use Lightroom, but I've only used the free mobile app, so I would only use it on my phone when I had photos on my phone, stuff like that. But now I used it for an actual, client job for the portraits that I did the other day. And I must say that I liked it. Now, to piggyback off another video, I did just get a new tablet. I got the Samsung Tab S8. I also use Galaxy Note 10, which is what I'm shooting this video on now. So I used, I did the editing on those two devices, between those two, between being out and about, having other events to go to, gatherings, and I edited all the photos using those two devices. So I think it worked out perfectly. I like the idea of it I'm being free from my laptop. So the issue with my laptop is that the battery is dying. It's a great laptop, it's powerful, it does what I need, but it is a little heavy. It's a 15.6 inch Lenovo. It's a little heavy, and the battery pretty much makes it a desktop. So I can't move away from it. I can't move it around the house. I can't be outside of my backyard, without it kind of abruptly dying. That's kind of what's happening. So Lightroom was an option to just be free, and I never had a tablet before, and so I said, you know what, let me try it. I like my phone. I like to have a big flagship phone. The Note 10 is not new, but it, back in the day, it's the equivalent of what the, say S23 Plus would be, something like that. So that's what it is, and I like it. I like the tablet experience. It has a removable keyboard, so I can be productive on it, but I can, just use it just like a tablet, and has a stylus with it, the pen, so it's all good. So my process was, I took the raw files, used it on my main piece in my main laptop, the Lenovo, loaded the raw files into it, created a folder for it and everything, an album. And once it was there, it was available on all my other devices like my phone and my tablet. So I was able to kind of be free from the laptop, and it worked out perfectly. I loved it. The photos came out pretty good. You know, there was some lighting issues. It was, you know, obviously we're in July on the East Coast. It was early, a lot of harsh light. So the editing was, you know, I had to deal with the shadows a lot more than I would normally like to. You know, it wasn't an overcast day, which would be better for photography, you know, to create diffusion. But we didn't have that, so kind of had to work with what we had. And, you know, I'm used to doing that. So I shoot a lot in this location, Liberty State Park in Jersey City. And so I'm used to that, and just dealt with the editing and removing the shadows. So it worked out great. So I am a fan of Lightroom. I must say that I still will use Luminar, because at some point, if I just decide not to pay for Lightroom anymore, I'll move back to Luminar, and I'll have a paid, you know, something I already paid for that I don't have to have a subscription for. You know, I like the cross-platform ability. I just don't like subscriptions. So that's kind of what it came down to. So moving on to the 45mm 1.8, I must say it performed pretty well. I liked it. Great lens. It's small, compact, has enough reach and depth of field, especially for micro four thirds, to really get good portraits, and that depth, you know, that bokeh that we like, the separation, the quality, you know, of it, because it's 90mm equivalent, it's giving you a flat perspective. It doesn't distort anything. You know, I didn't notice any issues in the files itself. You know, everything was good and sharp. It's a quality lens, and the fact that it's so small makes it great. I think for me, it'll be a great pairing to have with a 14mm 2.5, which is my other lens. You know, one of the main lenses I use for micro four thirds for the GX85. It's my street lens. It's like my documentary lens. You know, when I just want to go out and about real quick, it's kind of like that's my point and shoot camera. You know, I love my Fujis, and I'm still toying with the idea of why micro four thirds is even in my kit. But the only reason, or the main reason, is because that 35-100 lens is such a unique lens for a camera. It doesn't exist for any other system. Fuji makes, you know, 70-300, 70-200 lenses, but they're all massive. If they made a really small, compact 7200, something used for outdoor, you know, it doesn't have to have fast apertures. You know, this one for micro four thirds is f4 to 5.6, so it's not fast by any means. But if Fuji made one like that, I wouldn't need micro four thirds at all, because I have everything else covered that I want. I just don't have a small, compact telephoto. And that's what is unique about micro four thirds, is that I can get that lens that I can't get in any other system. But it's good to have that. And listen, for now, I like micro four thirds. I like what it can do. I used it for a portrait shoot. I like what the results were. I know I can probably do even better with it, more stuff. This was the first one, and more to come. So stay tuned.